Yeah, so, and then he came to know a lot of things here in Pashupati, and he was absolutely against what the Brahmins were doing here in Pashupati, you know, like a big board only for Hindus, you see. And then...
And like still now, only Hindus, they are allowed inside the
Yes.
Pashupati Mandir.
Yes, still
Yeah.
today, and foreigners
Right.
have to keep out.
Right.
Foreigners.
And originally it was a Buddhist site, so it doesn't make much sense. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a controversy of this also when we look into those things. So that's how, like, and he was opposed with this kind of thing, you know, like the Brahmins' caste system and domination of the lower caste, you know. The lower caste, the Sudras, you know, like, you know, they were not allowed at all
Really?
inside the complex, you know.
Right.
And they had to stay outside. So they built this, you know, white resting place out here in front of Badleshwari Mata, you know. And that place is called Pore Party. You know, Pore is one of the Sudras, Nevari. Right? They are like cleaners.
Right.
So that thing is known as Pore Party, party meaning a resting place.
Right.
You know. So it was for them, they had to stay there.
Right.
And they cannot go inside the temple.
I see.
So that kind of domination was there.
And today, can they go inside?
Yeah, today they can go,
Yeah.
you know, because a little bit of change after this fall of the monarchy and then the coming of what we call democracy.
Right.
You know, and we have already seen Nepal has seen democracy.
Yeah. Right.
Right? So, because of that, then they don't stop anyone now. But foreigners, they don't allow. Yeah.
And, you know, other than, I'm just going back to Aghoris and the location of the cremation grounds, the charnel grounds, which is in all of the ancient manuscripts going back thousands of years as an ideal practice site, a location. I mean, other than its remoteness, why do people, what does it offer a practitioner?
Yeah, because, you know, charnel ground is one of the most, a place where the energy, the vibration is good. You know, it has good vibration, it has a positive vibration in the charnel, because this is a place where the transformation, you know, of the body is taking place. It's transformed into ashes, and the spirit, you know, leaves. If there is a spirit, like, or whatever it is. So this transformation is a place of transformation, right? And it's a place for people to, why charnel ground? Because, you know, it's very important, because it's symbolic in the sense that it tells people about death, that you cannot escape. It's a stark, naked reality, right? Which you can't escape.
Right.
So this is what it ingrains in people, you know. When they come to the charnel plant, they realize that one day I have to die also, like this on Sita.
Yeah.
You know, and that realization can at least affect him and change his life,
Yeah.
you know, and become a better person. Right? Throw
In the
away all
last
the,
remaining, right.
evil qualities you have. Yeah, throw it away, it is all right. So it brings a change in people.
And it really,
regarding
it, people can understand on a practical level the nature of impermanence.
Yeah, because people need to really understand these things, right?
Yeah.
Because charnel ground is a place, it gives you true knowledge. And that true knowledge is about death. That means
Yeah.
it's pointing the finger, it's saying, one day you will also die.
Yeah.
Be careful,
Right.
right? Because this is it. And after death, we don't know what's going to happen, right? Nobody knows that. But some things we know, right? Because it's finished. After death, nothing, you know. It is all nirvana, you know. So,
Or reincarnation.
yeah, because not reincarnation, but rebirth,
Rebirth.
is of the consciousness. And because the only thing that doesn't die is our consciousness,
Yeah.
right? And this consciousness sometimes, you know, it hides himself inside me, and sometimes it wonderfully reveals itself also, you know. So the only thing that will be there left of us is just consciousness,
Right.
and nothing else. So it's like candle, right? We burn a candle, and then there's a flame. You can see the flame is burning, bright candle. And what do? You blow the candle off. Now tell me, where did the flame go? Did it go to heaven? Did it go to hell? We don't know where it went. Nobody knows, you know. So we are like this, you know, this flame, you know. And one day, poof, we finish.
Yeah.
Nobody knows where it goes. So it's like that.
Do you have like any thoughts about, so some of these charnel ground practices of people sitting on a corpse? So some people say that this is just to absolutely annihilate all aversions to anything. Like if you can do that, you really can have equanimity anywhere, no matter what happens, even in our gore world of on the verge of nuclear war. And other people, I've also heard that it was primarily a practice for men who had a hard time being celibate with their libido. Like that story of the Buddha sending one of his favorite young monks on a date with a woman. So she started out at the beginning of the date as a beautiful 16-year-old maiden, and over the course of the evening, became a mother and a grandmother, and then died, and it was putrefying, and then became a skeleton, and then turned to ash, just so that he could see that any attachment to beauty and youth and the flesh is it's all an illusion.
Yes, it's an illusion, big illusion.
Right.
That's why everything is not permanent. Everything is changing, right? Every second there is a revolution going on. It's a change, it's coming and going on, you know. So nothing is permanent at all. So why attach yourself with something that is not permanent?
Yeah.
Right? And that is impermanence. Right? And impermanence comes with mindfulness. Unless and until we don't become mindful of the things that are very serious, then we will not understand, you know. And then,
but do you think there's some truth in that, about being predominantly for men dealing with their libido and desire?
Yeah, that's partly true, because this whole concept of the sadhana, that it's a sub-sadhana, they say, right, for the Aghoris. Now, sub-sadhana, you find a dead body and then you sit on that dead body, right? And that is like straight away you're sitting on a dead body, okay? And then what does that dead body makes you realize? It'll show you everything. It'll show you that you are nothing, right? You will dissolve. There is no permanency.
That you will become like it.
Yeah, like it, like this, that body, and then it's rotting, nothing, right? We are all rotting flesh, and every time we are dissolving slowly towards our death, right? So this, awareness to create this, and by this, then the person starts realizing more things, because there is nothing there. You're just sitting on the dead body, and then you are meditating, on everything that the dead body is.
That is coming up in your mind.
Yeah. And the dead body is smelling, it's rotting, right? So then you will learn not to worry about the smell.
Right.
Right? Because it should not affect you.
Right.
If the smell affects you, then you won't be able to meditate.
Right.
Right. And it's no use doing the sadhana.
So getting over the aversion of
yes, all
rotting
the aversions, because
flesh.
the dead body will teach the Aghori to become what? Become an Aghori.
Right.
Right? To make the person realize that death is another very important one of the most important events in your life which is going to come. Right? Two very important events in our life. Birth,
And death.
right? Big event when a baby is born. You're born, wow, everyone is happy. Big party, right? Everyone enjoying. Right?
And then death, everybody's sad.
Yeah, and then the interval we have,
Yeah.
right, between birth and death. And then that death is sure to come. Nobody can escape this, right?
No.
But if we practice ourselves and realize that we have to face death one day, so that is another great event in our life.
Right.
Because how you manage that is important, because you don't want to come back. Right? You want in nirvana.
Right.
You want to go poop like the flame of the candle.
Right. You don't want to come back into the suffering
Yeah.
of dukkha
Yeah.
and this in samsara.
Yeah.
So you, as a yogi, we're practicing for our death.
Yes, because that's why we are practicing. It's not for fame or money or
It's to manage your death.
Yes, how to manage that death. Everyone talks
Right.
about the art of living. I talk about art of dying.
Right. So what does a good death mean to you?
A good death is once we are cleaned of all the aversions, all the clingings, all the attachments, we have dissolved these things,
Yeah.
right? Then our death becomes very simple. Meaning you will see the light. You will be attracted. You will not fear the light. Because you will learn to get rid of your fear. You got to learn that. Right? That's why we every time talk about fear. Why fear? Don't fear. Let's get it out. Dissolve this fear thing. Right? Because it's for that. And at that time, I feel what it's like when we die, then the flashes that, the experience that we have at that time, all the things that we see during that time and experience is ourselves.
You mean the experience of going through the bardo?
Yes, it's the bardo. Right? And that bardo is yourself, Like say you are a very angry person and very violent kind of character and then you die. In the bardo, what happens? That violent, because you are a violent person, you are an angry man. So the bardo will show this angry demon standing in front of it, but that person has to realize this is me. You see?
Yeah.
Because it shows us this at that time of death, because you can see in the Tibetan book of the death how the bardo thing is described so beautifully, right? And we have to understand this, like it is ourselves, it's a projection of ourselves, what we were during our lifetime, and all those things come one by one, But if you were not that, right, you were totally a different person, you were very peaceful, very loving, very kind and compassionate, right? Not greedy and always very helpful and doing service to humanity and the creatures around us. That person is a gem.
So they have an easier death.
He will face big demons
No big demons.
with big swords chasing you. Oh my God! Right? It's a reflection. The bardo is a reflection, right, of our own self, what we were. So that's why we're going to be aware of what we are right now in this interval, right?
Yeah.
Because death is going to come sooner or later.
Right.
And
So if we really can eradicate, these poisonous emotions and become, a compassionate, kind, helpful person, serving others, then we will have an easier death. The demons won't appear in the bardo.
No, not like easier death, because there's no death at all, right? It's just the word there, because that's a point in our
transition.
life. Yeah, transition point. And then if you were like this and you have good merits, right, because of your karma, because you were such a person, then the bardo for you will be straight away, you'll see the light and you will not fear the light and you'll go straight into the light.
Right.
Right? And then you're gone, nirvana. You've dissolved in the ocean like a river dissolves in the ocean, they say like the river has a very difficult time during its journey from the mountains through the valley,
Waterfalls, gorges, right.
Like a river.
Sometimes underground,
Yeah.
right.
And then as we come near the ocean, then we start getting fearful. The river starts getting fearful.
Right. It's going to suck me.
Yeah, fears the ocean. It's so
Right.
vast.
Yeah.
Now what's going to happen? I have to dissolve in it. But that fear is there for the river. Because the river again goes back and it's all those mountains, all those valleys, all those waterfalls, all those lakes, and the animals that were all there, and everything that the river experienced. Now everything is going to go away, like death of a river, and it has to dissolve into the ocean. And once it goes into the ocean, it's different.
It becomes one.
One with the ocean, and that's nirvana.
Right. Okay.
Right. So it's very simple. This simple thing is there, but to realize and to practice.
But there's other like physical things that happen when you're dying that are scary, I suppose. Like just all the elements dissolving, like dissolving back into the elements.
Yes.
And feeling that. I mean, that would be very alienating
it sometimes
and
becomes
difficult,
very traumatic also.
And so even though you're not encountering a demon during those times necessarily, you're still
because those things are according to that person's karma,
right?
Like as I said, if that person was something else, like a gem, then he won't have all these things. He will pass away very peacefully, right? Right. Yeah, and he'll tell everyone that he'll be passing away at this time, and so they will just have nirvana.
And do you think you will choose the time of your death? What is that? Uttarakanti?
No, this one is like, it's a good question. And it's a good topic also, you choose the time of your death and exactly that time you die. Right? And this is there and practiced mostly by the Hindus. In Hinduism you find this samadhi. The Hindu way of samadhi. When you talk about that, and it's like cheating everyone. That person is cheating the whole world.
How?
Yeah. Okay. I've become famous, right? And I want to be more famous and remembered after I pass away. So my time of passing away is nearby, right? And then what these people do is, okay, so tomorrow, 5 o'clock in the evening, I'm going to go samadhi.
So big production people come to watch, TV cameras, media.
Everything. Right? And what he does is suicide. You hold your breath for 3 minutes, you're dead.
Right.
Samadhi. So easy.
Right.
It's not samadhi, man. It's a suicide.
Right.
Killing yourself, man. So this is what is happening actually, And people like this want to be famous and great by predicting all that. That's really very, very confusing for people. It's simple suicide, Hold your breath for 3 minutes, your brain is dead, and now you start dissolving your body.
It's pretty difficult for people to hold their breath for 3 minutes unless they're trained.
Yeah, because those people who do this, they are practicing also yoga and this and that, and and then they come to this point and okay, I'm going to have samadhi, and that's totally suicide. Because in Ramayana, the epic, the story, after Ram gives us up his kingdom and everything, and then goes into sannyasa, into the mountains, and because he wants to find Shiva. Because only Shiva will liberate them, So they have this, like in Mahabharata, it's like that. They leave the king. And even in Ramayana, Ram also resigns.
He chooses the time of his death?
Yeah, and I'm going to take samadhi. Then he goes inside the river, so I'll go and take samadhi in the Ganga.
Okay.
So he drowns himself.
Right. Right, so
it's there.
He's not really in samadhi, he just drowned himself.
Well, if you want, you can just sit there and take samadhi, but why go inside the river?
Yeah, right.
Simple science, right?
I mean, the Tibetans do have like tukdam, where, you know, people just go from a meditative state into samadhi, and, you know, all, like, vital signs are
because you know,
gone, you know,
yes,
over the
yes,
next few
yes,
months.
Yes, there are yogis who can do these things. You know,
Yeah.
because these are the yogis who are really practicing, and they
Yeah.
know about everything about their
Exactly.
breath control.
Yeah.
You see, like I taught you these things, no? The right nose and the left
mean,
nostrils. And
There still are
the
people,
Ita
the
Pongala.
Swara Yoga.
Yeah, Swara,
Right.
you got it. And all this. So they are perfect in these things.
Yeah.
You see? And by watching their breath, anyone, like I'm also practicing this Swara Yoga. So by watching our breath, we can predict our death. We can say, okay, at this time I'm going to have samadhi, I'm going to die. You know? And that will be a real one. And that's not suicide.
Right.
That the time of death has come near and the person comes to know this. And it's simple. Why should I hide the truth from you?
Is it going to be the left or the right nostril?
No, that is when, you know, it's not the left or the right at that time. It's because we have to be very careful when, you know, when the susumna is active.
Right.
You know, that means both the nostrils.
Yeah.
That is susumna.
Right.
So during...
Ida Pingala balanced.
Yes, and so during susumna, the only thing you can do is meditate, you know, and read about spiritual things and do some spiritual activities like Shiva and also, but during this, you know, susumna period. And we have to be very careful at that time when both the nostrils are working. So at that time, if we curse somebody, that person will
Die.
be affected by that
Right.
curse. You see? So that susumna is very, very like sensitive, you know, thing. So what happens is, like, if death is going to come, you know, then your susumna breath will not change. Okay, and normally maybe 60 minutes, you know, at the most, the changing, right? Left, right, sometimes 45, sometimes 30 minutes, one hour maybe, maximum. But if the susumna continues after 1 hour, it takes another half hour and still it is susumna. Both the breaths are it's working. So that means no, your time is coming near. That is the signal. You know. And then yogis, they realize these things and they prepare for this time. And
So you
like,
basically just stay in meditation.
yes, and it's just simple nirvana. And it's moksha after this. So that is important. That's why watching our breath every day and doing things according to our breath, you know, helps
Right.
us, you know, gain things and lead a normal life and have full confidence in ourselves, trust in ourselves that I can do this. I have this energy, you know, and I can work on it, and believe in myself to help everyone, right? To take care of things when things go wrong, right? So, yeah, a lot of things.
Thank you.